Hey, everybody.
Hi,
Welcome to TFT Tarot for Today. Divine Dabblings with
Oberon.
me, Banshee, and it's Oberon.
This is Goth Tarot.
Goth Tarot.
And as mentioned in a promo and some other verbiage here and there, I've decided to make the show better, hopefully. And part of that is inviting Banshee to come on for the first Wednesday of each month, Goth Tarot's normal time. We are going to kind of set the scene for a month's work of looking into the shadow side, figuring out ways we can integrate it with ourselves. And we're doing that, of course, with our normal pulls of decks, including a new deck, the Cries of the Souls Oracle,
which is a ShadowWork deck. So highly recommend you check that out if you're very much into working on shadow issues. And I would just add to what Mr. O said very briefly that I kind of put some concepts of his together to make one cohesive 6-card reading that will cover a particular shadow issue to work on for the month ahead.
That had to be hard, combining with my stuff.
It was hard. It was hard, but somebody's got to do it.
Sorry, a moment of levity for Goth.
It's a dirty job, but somebody's got to do it. At any rate, the other part of this is that what we want to do is set the stage, and then when he does his regular other 3 Goth Tarot programs, at the beginning of that show, he'll pull a card as a progress report, or maybe to give people other alternative ideas on how to work with that shadow concept that we're working on, at the start of each month. It'll be a different one each month.
Right, so it'll kind of review what happened in the first of the month's episode, and then give us a progress report. And then
he'll do his regular shtick,
which may bring out other issues or other kind of concepts for us to work with in our shadow.
Absolutely. So let's get started, shall we? So we're going to start setting the stage with a card from the Cries of the Soul Oracle, which will lead us as to which shadow we are going to be working on in this month ahead. Well, and since this is its maiden voyage, we aren't going to do a full month with this shadow. However, you'll have 2 weeks where Mr. O will, will do progress reports, and we'll see how we do. We'll see how this reading goes. This is basically a trial run. And then from this point forward, we'll be doing this at the start of every month.
And although it seems like maybe it's homework, there is a gentle grading curve.
Right. No failures. No fails. All right. Let's see what our first venture into this is. And it is, wow, fighting the outside world. And there's an affirmation here. I embrace tenderness from outside. So it seems like some of us are having some fights with reality or the outside world. Let's leave that there.
Well, what a loaded thought there, eh?
Let's see what the book has to say about this, and that is number 6. Oh, it's right near the beginning. All right. I think I went too far. Let's go back. It's best to look these up, Mr. O, if you use this on your own in the future from here. Just to get the page number, because the numbers on the cards are just too small. That's one pet peeve I have about this. Here it is. The wisdom is the following, and it's going to speak as if your shadow, this shadow, is talking to you. I am with you to tell you to create a battle plan. I am often accompanied by anger and jealousy, which helps me demonize others and makes you aware that you can't move towards the future with love or happiness. Others are here to steal what you hold most dear, and you must defend what is yours at all costs. I don't want you to suffer, but am with you because you were trodden on when you couldn't defend yourself, and decided it would never happen again. We declared war together against the rest of the world. It's you versus the world. You and your shadow versus the world.
And you know, a little bit of this reminds me of sometimes people who maybe are beyond the need for shadow work because maybe they have emotional or mental difficulties, and you know, which would include paranoia or schizophrenia or delusional thinking, where people feel that everyone is actually, you know, their enemy. And how it relates to shadow work perhaps is just saying, don't let this get to you too far, because maybe this is what happens.
You know, your shadow is not just something that's working against you. Sometimes your shadow plays this role of trying to protect you. And so, in a sense, the shadow feels we have to steer ourselves up. The world is going to be out to get us, you know, and so it's trying to, in its own way, be your ally. But, you know, as with many things, we can let something like that get out of hand.
You know, it reminds me of, you know, some popular literature, some maybe more, you know, easy literature, you know, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, or the current superhero movie, The Sentry, who has a dark side called The Void. These are kind of things that maybe resonate with people, the idea that there's another part of themselves and they give that other side of themselves carte blanche to do whatever, perhaps.
So on with the reading, which will incorporate some information from here along with the tarot card to give us some advice. And so basically the first part of this reading, besides the dark shadow we just mentioned, is the dark whispers. What you need to know. What do you need to know about this situation? And for this, I'm going to look at the supplement section of this reading and read the following. And Mr. O, why don't you start shuffling the tarot?
All right, and I will be using the Gothic Tarot for the card we pull here.
I often exhaust your resources as you mobilize a great deal of energy in observing the minutest details of your surroundings. Yet I am not entirely negative. When you are focused on fighting, you don't focus on yourself or think about the beautiful things you could create or experience. You only think about the battle ahead. When you don't have the resources to focus on yourself, I am a source of reassurance. When I am present, you make others believe you are a rock, an insensitive being whom nothing can touch. You're impenetrable, which also means you're impenetrable to the good things in life as well affecting you. You just put up a major shield.
And do you know
right?
when I see that? Sometimes I see that with the kind of people who feel like they can't allow any negativity in their life. They have to be totally positive.
Right.
And they create a bubble around themselves, and that bubble may hold in things that maybe they should be letting out.
Very good, Mr. O.
So for the Dark Whispers, as I mentioned, our supplemental tarots for this session will be from the Gothic
Ready
Tarot.
to pick it up?
Yes. All right, and so this first card is telling us
It's about what we need to know.
what we need to know.
About what I just read.
Oh,
Oh my God.
and it's the reversed Three of Swords. And maybe what we need to know is we can heal ourselves. We can get over immense, crippling heartbreak, but we do have to work at it.
Well, we can get over this hump of relying on the shadow to overshield us, right? We don't want it to overshield us. We want to heal ourselves and realize you know, we're not always under threat from the outside world.
I like
Sometimes
this.
we need to be open. We need to reopen our heart again. So this card really fits perfectly with this position.
Very nice.
Yeah.
All right.
So I like that a lot. Now let's take a look at the dark drama. How others or outside events may be inadvertently triggering this. And this is just a tarot card for this one. Let's see what outside forces may be triggering this, or other people, how they... Well, it's the devil reversed. I think in its own way, what it might be saying is that others may be triggering our barriers to go up even higher by trying to liberate us from the shield we put ourselves in. You know, this is a decision and a thing we have to make for ourselves. Other people might say, hey, what's wrong with you? Can't you open up? Can't you do this? Can't you do that? Well, that's just going to trigger us more, like that's a threat coming from the outside in. Now, he may have a different perspective on that, but I sort of feel that way with that card.
Well, I think that we also need to know maybe that sometimes these situations are overwhelming, but when we liberate ourselves, do we go to the exact opposite extreme? Or if somebody is helping us do that, do they take us to an opposite point rather than maybe a point that mediates some of that? That to just totally go to an opposite extreme may not necessarily be what we want.
Well, and also I have to say this, inadvertently triggering it. I wonder here too if maybe on the other hand, that there's a part of you, you know, when you see certain outside events, maybe you see a couple together holding hands and you wish you could open yourself up to another person, you know, in that way. It may trigger this response in you, or it may make you momentarily question, you know, how you're protecting yourself so tightly.
I think another thought here is also because sometimes the devil in either case represents codependencies. Are we really liberating ourselves, or are we just kind of falling into another set of dependency?
Yeah, I like that too. So the dark truth, what you must accept. And so this is another part of this book I'm going to read, plus one tarot card. You can go ahead and shuffle. Oh wait, we aren't shuffling in
Right.
between. That's right.
And there's our card again.
So what you must accept. Okay, here's a little warning for you. You don't necessarily have to always fight your way forward. There is more to the outside world than enemies, manipulation, and danger. The world can be a wonderful place full of surprises, and you can experience great moments filled with gentleness, joy, and love. You can give yourself permission to be spontaneous and funny, fully savoring each moment. When you realize I am readying your armor, ask yourself whether you are faced with an actual battle or are really just terrified by unfamiliar kindness. Wow.
And of course, the dark truth, like some of these other cards, do fall into my regular reading. The dark truth is a truth you must accept. You don't have to like it.
As I said,
you may have to accept it.
As I said, I've really cribbed together a lot of Mr. O's ideas to create this reading. Oh my gosh!
It's the Three of Cups, so it's the second three. I'll let you start.
Okay, so what did we just say? We just said that the world can be a wonderful place full of surprises, and you can experience great moments filled with gentleness, joy, and love. And so the dark truth is that there are people out there who want to support you. There are people out there who want to love you, who want to befriend you, you know, but you have to be open to that. You have to not feel that everybody is out to get you.
When I think of the drama of codependencies, it makes us forget the truth that not everybody hates us or is trying to hurt us, that we really do have a network of people, and maybe we forget that. And so it's time to bring that in there. That's the truth, is there are people who will help you. There are people who care about you.
And not finally, we got two more. The dark gift. What hidden ability, power, resources, or aspect of yourself can help you cope with this shadow that's haunting you this month? And I guess I'll pull one, and it is, well, it's the Eight of Pentacles reversed, and that is interesting to me. Okay, what hidden ability, power, or resources is that, you know what? You don't have to do the work of arming yourself every time you're going to face something new, every time you're going to go out in the world. Instead of throwing up those shields right away and doing doing the work that the shadow requires of you, you do not have to do it. That's the power, I think, of that card.
This may also be talking about spontaneity, that sometimes the Eight of Pentacles is talking about procedures and protocols and how we work through a process, but maybe sometimes just saying, flip the script and just go with what can seem to work. And of course, you may have to, really vet that on yourself, but the power of spontaneity maybe is your gift too.
I love it. And finally, we are at the dark destiny, or it's kind of like the dark light marriage. How do we all get along here? How do we integrate this? The integration of shadow and light. We're using the cries of the soul to find out how we can move forward, and tarot plus their affirmation in here, which I think I've already stated, but we'll do that again. So moving forward, to create a new relationship with this shadow, with me, as it says here, you will need to drop your weapons. When you feel a desire to fight, stop. Take a few deep breaths and ask yourself, why are you fighting? And whether or not it's really justified. Make a list of action steps you can take that will allow you to react in a generous way, experimenting with other ways of doing and being. Reconcile with gentleness through accepting hugs, gifts, and help from others. Accept that you can talk about your fears and that you may be listened to. Listen to other voices than mine, meaning that shadow's voice. Listen to others. And let's draw that tarot card on that, eh?
All right, so this is the other quality or thing that can help you integrate your shadow and light.
Go ahead and pull it.
And it's the reversed King of Swords.
Wow. Well, recognize be able to discern, people who are a threat from people who aren't. That's kind of what I feel here in a way. Sure, there's cruelty and there's hostile people in the world, but not everybody is like that. And I think here that this is a reminder that we're not saying that you have to open yourself and be vulnerable to harmful situations, but you have to know how to distinguish them from positive experiences in life.
And the irony here is that, of course, we're talking about two different things, the shadow and the light, and how to integrate them. But what I get from the King of Swords reversed is that maybe sometimes we look at things too binary, and maybe we have to relax the idea that things that aren't bad are good, or vice versa, light, dark. Sometimes there's something more liminal in between or beyond, and we have to look at non-binary ideas that are involved here too on how we integrate.
Well, and the interesting thing is about this marriage thing here is that the King of Swords reversed is kind of a hostile, angry, kind of nasty person. And what does it say here right in the beginning? To create a new relationship with the shadow that wants to always ready itself for war, right? Like that card says. It says to drop your weapons. Drop this facade of anger or feeling that you have to fight with everybody you meet,
judgmental qualities.
Right. So I think that's the key that we need to work on going forward. And maybe, as Mr. O does the updates during the month, he might be able to show some things that are still holding us back and some things that maybe are moving us more forward with this.
Well, it's always worth a gamble.
I trust Mr. O implicitly to be able to do this. Oh, what do you think? So should we recap? Or, I mean, I think it's pretty clear. I don't know if you recap on your show.
I don't usually.
So,
but I'll let us look at the cards one more time.
But let's look at the cards one more time, just briefly this time. I don't think we'll do this all the time. But let's remember that the whole thing is fighting the outside world here. Feeling that we always have to either be on the defensive or offensive rather than being a neutral, nice, regular, everyday player, team player. So, right?
And that goes to how it ended in a way, too. The idea that, binary things may have a place, but sometimes we have to be able to let some of those boundaries relax a little bit and let some things kind of merge.
When you constantly have this shield up, it's hard for you to heal. I mean, it's hard for you to heal. It's hard for you to open your heart to new experiences and really get the joy out of life once more, right?
Right. And we had 2 3s, which is really good. 3s are about manifestation. So maybe this is a clue to us to work hard on what we've given you to see how you can actually integrate things. The 3 of Swords reversed is about healing, and the 3 of Cups upright is about joy.
And camaraderie with others, not battling with others, recognizing you have friends and allies out there who support you.
So the cards really did address the central card.
We didn't get the devil. They did. I really liked the way the reading worked. And so, watch the show a few times, understand the different positions. If you have an oracle or something that you like to use for shadow work, why not incorporate that in, or get this deck, the Cries of the Soul Oracle, and work on your own. Feel free to use this reading on your own as you see fit.
All right.
So that's what we have for everybody. And I've enjoyed doing this with you, Mr. O. I think it's a go.
It was a really good show.
For a full month and see how it goes. But stay tuned for the next 2 weeks for Mr. O's updates on this reading.
All right. We'll see you next week then.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.